When I started my journey towards Privé Care RX, I had no idea where to begin when it comes to inventory sourcing and optimization. Today, through experience, I have learned how to successfully source and manage inventory for my pharmacy. In this lesson, we will cover important strategies for evaluating distributors, ensuring compliance with essential regulations like DSCSA, and minimizing your pharmacy's startup costs. We will focus on practical insights that equip you with the tools you need to make informed decisions and maximize your gross profit. Are you ready? Let's get started. In this lesson, we will cover the key aspects of inventory sourcing and optimization. First, we will compare primary and secondary distributors and discuss how to choose the right one for your pharmacy. We will also focus on DSCSA compliance, including proper product tracing and handling suspect drugs. Next, we will walk through the controlled substance procurement process and its documentation requirements. We will explore how to minimize initial inventory costs while ensuring you have the right products in stock. Finally, we will discuss how third party providers can support inventory management and compliance. By the end, you will be equipped to make informed decisions and optimize your pharmacy's inventory efficiently. When choosing your pharmacy's distributors, one of the most important things to look for is NABP drug distributor accreditation. This isn't just a box to check, it is a layer of protection for your patients, your pharmacy, and your reputation. The U.S. medical supply chain is complex, and counterfeit drugs are a real threat. This accreditation helps prevent illegitimate or unsafe products from entering the system. Distributors with this accreditation are fully licensed, operate in good standing, and follow strict protocols for storing, handling, and shipping medications and devices. It is a 3-year accreditation, so if you see this on a vendor's credentials, you know they are upholding high standards across the board. Make it a non negotiable part of your sourcing checklist. Your pharmacy's integrity depends on it. Let's take a moment to look at the two types of suppliers you will be working with: primary and secondary. Understanding the difference between them and when to rely on each is key to managing your inventory effectively. While most mid to large size pharmacies benefit from having a primary supplier to handle the bulk of their orders, smaller independent pharmacies, especially those just starting out, may rely solely on secondary suppliers, and that is completely fine. Many secondary suppliers offer competitive pricing, low order minimums, and quick shipping. These advantages can be especially helpful when you are operating on a tighter budget or limited shelf space. This next slide will help you compare the two options so you can decide what structure fits your pharmacy's size, cash flow, and specialty focus best. Let's break down the key differences between primary and secondary distributors so you can make the right sourcing decisions for your pharmacy. Primary distributors are the big players. They supply medications and healthcare products to large networks, including hospitals, retail chains, specialty clinics, and government agencies. Because of their scale, they have strong negotiating power with manufacturers and wide distribution coverage. But here is the trade-off. Primary distributors often come with high volume requirements, rigid contracts, and a lack of personalized support for independent pharmacies. You might find yourself locked into terms that are difficult to navigate when you are starting small. Now, secondary distributors are a different story. These companies are often built to serve community based pharmacies like yours. They are known for their flexibility, lower minimums, better responsiveness, and more personal relationships. They may not have the global reach or financial leverage of primary distributors, but what they offer is tailored support. Many specialize in niche products, champion independent pharmacy interests, and provide solutions without red tape. Neither one is necessarily better. It is about choosing what aligns with your business stage, goals, and service model. Now let's turn our attention to an important regulation that impacts every aspect of the pharmaceutical supply chain, the Drug Supply Chain Security Act, or DSCSA. Signed into law by Congress as part of the Drug Quality and Security Act in November 2013, DSCSA is designed to protect public health by ensuring the safety and integrity of the U.S. pharmaceutical supply chain. The primary goal of this law is to combat the dangers posed by counterfeit, contaminated, stolen, or harmful drugs entering the supply chain. In essence, DSCSA outlines the steps needed to electronically track and trace prescription drugs at the packaging level. This means that manufacturers, wholesalers, healthcare providers, and pharmacies must all maintain certain data and share it in a secure, standardized format. The key here is that this data must be able to move smoothly between each link in the supply chain. For your pharmacy, DSCSA compliance is not just a matter of regulatory necessity. It ensures the drugs you provide to patients are safe and legitimate, maintaining both their trust and the safety of the public. DSCSA holds pharmacies or dispensers accountable for protecting patients from harmful or illegitimate drugs. Pharmacies must confirm that all trading partners, such as manufacturers, distributors, and other pharmacies, are properly licensed and registered. This can be done by checking the registration of manufacturers and repackagers, as well as verifying the licensing of wholesale distributors and pharmacies through the relevant state authorities. Pharmacies are required to receive prescription drugs with product tracing documentation and store this documentation for 6 years. They must also provide this documentation when selling drugs to trading partners, but not when dispensing directly to patients. In cases where drugs are suspected to be counterfeit, stolen, or otherwise illegitimate, pharmacies must quarantine and investigate these drugs. If they are confirmed to be illegitimate, pharmacies must notify the manufacturer, the FDA, and the relevant trading partners to ensure that the drugs do not reach patients. Pharmacies with 25 or fewer full time employees, pharmacists, or qualified pharmacy technicians have until November 27, 2026 to comply with certain DSCSA requirements. This extension helps smaller pharmacies implement necessary systems without disrupting patient care. If your pharmacy qualifies for this exemption, make sure to inform your trading partners to maintain transparency and compliance. All pharmacies must ensure their suppliers are authorized under Section 581 of the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, which governs the sale of prescription drugs. Pharmacies are also required to maintain current product tracing information and have a standard operating procedure to quarantine, investigate, and report suspect products. Additionally, pharmacies must have policies and procedures in place for inventory procurement to maintain compliance. Pharmacies should also check the FDA's annual reporting database to determine if a wholesale drug distributor or third party logistics provider has submitted their annual report to the FDA. Third party companies can assist with DSCSA compliance, and pharmacies should ensure their management systems are equipped to collect and report inventory data. If you choose to work with a third party provider, make sure your system can integrate with them effectively. I highly recommend you visit the link shown in this slide to access the FDA's free continuing education course for pharmacists that explains DSCSA requirements. When evaluating potential distributor partnerships, it is important to look beyond pricing alone. You want to think about how well their services align with your pharmacy's unique needs and growth goals. First, consider whether they offer both brand and generic medications that support your specific business model. Whether you are focused on traditional retail or serve a specialized niche, make sure their inventory can meet your patient's needs. Next, look for competitive pricing, but also consider value. Ask yourself if the pricing includes support, flexibility, and fast turnaround times. Next day delivery is another key factor, especially when you are managing tight inventory. Quick fulfillment can help you avoid stock outs and delays in patient care. You also want flexible payment options. Some distributors offer a line of credit with 30-day terms, which can ease your cash flow as you get established. If you plan to dispense controlled substances, make sure the distributor uses CSAS compliant software so you can place orders electronically while staying within DEA guidelines. Strong distributor relationships often come down to one on one support. Having a dedicated account manager who understands your business can make a big difference when issues come up. And finally, verify their DSCSA compliance. This ensures they are operating within the legal and regulatory framework that protects both your pharmacy and your patients. Take your time choosing. The right distributor will do more than just supply your shelves. They will support your business strategy and patient care philosophy. Controlled substance procurement starts with a thorough vetting process to ensure that all legal and regulatory requirements are met. The approval process for controlled substance procurement typically takes between 2 to 6 weeks. During this time, the pharmacy's operations and documentation are carefully reviewed to ensure eligibility to dispense controlled medications. Thereafter, once approved, 90-day dispensing reports may be required to ensure the pharmacy is adhering to best practices in handling and dispensing controlled substances. For most pharmacies, the initial inventory cost can be relatively low. Pharmacies can typically purchase startup inventory for under $5,000 when sourcing them from secondary suppliers, particularly for generic medications. This is an affordable way to stock a pharmacy with essential medications while maintaining a manageable budget for startup operations. In this lesson, we explored the critical aspects of inventory sourcing and optimization for independent pharmacies. We covered the differences between primary and secondary distributors, with secondary distributors offering more flexibility for smaller pharmacies. You learned how to evaluate distributors based on pricing, delivery times, and compliance with DSCSA regulations. We also discussed the importance of maintaining a product tracing documentation file, handling controlled substances appropriately, and ensuring compliance with industry standards. Additionally, we explored strategies to minimize startup inventory costs while securing essential medications. Lastly, we highlighted the role of third party providers in supporting compliance and inventory management, giving you practical tools to optimize your pharmacy operations. The next slides will guide you through the module worksheets and call to action items, providing the tools that apply what you have learned and take the next steps in optimizing your pharmacy's inventory sourcing and ensuring compliance. Let's turn this knowledge into action.